Very good morning, dear students. Welcome to Kumar Chandra Higher Secondary School. Okay. So in the previous class, we are discussing about the circular motion. Okay, the fundamentals of circular motion. What are the physical quantities relating the circular motion? That is the radius vector. Okay, that is the angular velocity. That is angular displacement, angular accelerations, and the relationship between linear velocity and the angular velocity. These things we have already discussed in our previous video lecture. Okay. Now in this class we are just extending this lecture or extending this chapter. The next part of the circular motion is a uniform circular motion, which is a important part or important section of the circular motion. So first of all, let us understand that what do you mean by or how the circular motion can be a uniform one. Okay. So now the definition is that when the object is rotating or revolving or in motion in the circumference of a circle, with constant linear velocity, there is a very important point, then that type of motion is called a uniform circular motion. Clear? Okay. So the circular motion or the motion in which the object rotate on the or along the circumference of a circle with constant linear velocity. The linear velocity must be constant. Then that type of circular motion is called your uniform circular motion. Understood all of you? Okay. So now the 2 points are very much clear in uniform circular motion. The first point is that the object must be rotate in a circular manner. Number 1. Number 2, the velocity. Which velocity? Linear velocity of the object at each point must be same. But the direction can be different, as you have seen in the figure. As we have also discussed in this figure in the previous video lecture. So let us discuss this somehow. So this is a figure of your uniform circular motion where, look at this, where the object is at A. Now when the object moving from A to B, the velocity remains same. Clear? And we know that whether the object is at A or whether the object is at B, clear, the velocity remains same. Look at here, the velocity becomes a V. But the direction changes. Here the direction goes in this direction. At point B, here the direction is called in this direction. Clear? Okay. And whatever the object makes the angle at the center, that is nothing but your angular displacement. So here the mention of the angular displacement is your del theta. Understood all of you? Okay. And again one more thing I want to mention here. Students, do not confuse. I can write the del theta is in this manner also. This can be your del theta or this can be your del theta. So do not confuse. I can write in this form also. I can write in this form also. Some of the books have written this, some of the books have written this. So don't worry about that one. Okay. Both are the symbol of the del. So now this is the uniform circular motion definition. Now another very important point is that uniform circular motion is a periodic motion. Okay, so what do you mean by periodic motion? Let us discuss. So periodic motion are the type of motion in which the object repeats itself after a certain interval of time. Clear all of you? Now in this type of circular motion, all of you look at here. Suppose the object is at A, and when it will again rotate or passes through the circumference and comes to A. Again I'll repeat, listen very carefully. When the object is at A, now it starts motion and goes through its circumference, along its circumference, and again reached at A. Then it will cover one revolution. It cover one revolution or a complete circle. Clear? So that means how much angle or how much angular displacement it will make at the center is very clear, 2 pi. Clear all of you? Okay, because up to this is your pi, and up to this is your 2 pi. So that means it is very much clear that this 2 pi amount is repeats always for a certain interval of time. That's why the uniform circular motion is a periodic motion, is one type of periodic motion. Listen very carefully. Understood all of you? Okay, because certain distance, one revolution repeats itself. One revolution, this revolution repeats itself or same at a particular interval of time. That's why it is a periodic motion. So when the object from A and again it will revolve and comes to A or reach to A, then the total path length becomes 2 pi. The total displacement becomes 2 pi. What the mean? Then the object makes an angle at the center, but 2 pi. Very simple. Okay, and that 2 pi repeats at every interval of time. That's why it is your periodic motion. Uniform circular motion is a periodic motion. These are the important points. So first point, in uniform circular motion, the linear velocity must be same throughout this journey, whereas the direction may be different. Okay. Number two, the uniform circular motion is a periodic motion because its one revolution repeat itself at a certain interval of time. Clear all of you? Now let us find out what is the time period of revolution. Let us find out, very simple. So we know that the time period of revolution, that means the time required to complete one revolution is your time period of revolution. So T is equal to, we know that the T is your 2 pi divided by omega, because we know that this is the time period of revolution. So where it comes from? Now we know that angular velocity omega, angular velocity is your omega. So omega is equal to 2 pi divided by T. We know that. Okay, so from this we can swap it and we can find out the time period of revolution in a uniform circular motion is how much? Now 2 pi divided by omega. Very simple. So this is the time period of revolution. This amount of time it requires to complete one revolution. Understood all of you? So this is the main important point. So this is the time period of revolution. Now another very important point. So this is the time period of revolution. That is the time required to complete one revolution. Now suppose I want to find out what is my number of revolutions. Determine number of revolutions for a certain period of time. Number of revolution means I have to find out the frequency. I have to find out the frequency. So frequency, how I can find out? We know that the number of revolutions or frequent number of revolutions per unit time can be denoted as n, or that is your, or you can denote it as f. Very simply, the number of revolutions per unit time can be denoted as n or f. That is the frequency. That is the frequency. So that is equal to the reciprocal of time period. It is the reciprocal of time period. Okay, so that implies I can put it here. So that is 1 divided by 2 pi by omega. So that is omega divided by 2 pi. Understood all of you? Clear? Okay, so this is the number of revolution. This is the number of revolution per unit time. Understood all of you? Okay, it can be denoted as n or it can be denoted as f. Very simple. Understood? So 2 pi by omega is your time period revolution, and what are the number of revolutions or what are the frequency of revolution? Now omega divided by 2 pi. Understood all of you? Okay, so these are the important points about the uniform circular motion. Now some of the another important things we have discussed about the uniform circular motion. Let us discuss about the uniform circular motion. Clear? Okay. So now this is all about the frequency, the time period. Okay. Now let us find out that how the acceleration, when the object moves, listen very carefully, when the object moves from A and goes to a certain point B, okay, then how the acceleration of the object affects. Let us find out. Let us find out what are the types of acceleration effects on this type of motion. Understood all of you? So let us find out. So for this we can easily look at the figure and verify that. A very important point, that we know that during the motion, suppose the acceleration, which type of acceleration? The linear acceleration, suppose. So linear acceleration, how we can define the linear acceleration? The linear acceleration, we know that limit del t tends to 0, that is your del v divided by del t. This already we know, that is During this, the linear acceleration can be defined as a is equal to limit del t tends to 0 del t by del t. So all of you look at the figure very carefully. Suppose I assuming that a object is in uniform circular motion, okay, it starts its journey from A and end its journey at B. Clear? So at a time interval del t. Okay, listen very carefully. Let us consider an object having uniform circular motion, start its journey from A and ends its journey from at B. Okay, at a time interval del t. During its motion, the angular displacement the object had is del theta. Clear all of you? Now look at the figure. So this is the direction of the linear velocity at point A, because we know that linear velocity is tangential to the circle. Okay. Now at point B, this is the direction of the B. Okay. Suppose we have to project. Suppose we are projecting this tangent to here. Then this is V. This is V. That means this is the velocity at point B. And this is the velocity at point A. Just I have to project here. Okay. Then if I will name it, suppose this is the PQ. Suppose I name it as PQ. Then PQ is nothing but your del B. Understood? That PQ is nothing but the velocity at point B minus the velocity at point A. Very simple. Again I will repeat this very carefully. This is the direction or the velocity at velocity vector, the tangential vector due to A. This is the velocity vector due to B, and I will project this to at point B. Then when I project this vector at point B, then this is my vector. Clear? So now the PQ, the PQ is nothing but velocity at B minus velocity at A. Very simple. That is PQ and that is nothing but your del B. Understood all of you? Clear all of you? This is your del B. Okay. So what is the value there? Look at it very carefully. Then the del B, I can find out the value. So del B is nothing but V del theta from the geometry. All of you look at the geometry. So this is your del B, this is your del B, this is your V, and this is your del theta. That means what is the value of del B? So del B is nothing but V del theta. Clear all of you? Okay. So now let us put this value here. So when I am putting this value here, so what I can get, the A limit del t tends to 0. So in place of del V I have to put V del theta divided by del t. So that is equal to, let us so V I will take it outside. So V limit del t tends to 0 del theta divided by del t. Okay, so all of you know what is this, because previously in the previous class just I have discussed what is this. So this is nothing but your omega. That is rate of change of angular displacement. Rate of change of angular displacement is your omega. Okay, V omega. So what I will get? Now A is equal. There is a very important relationship just I got. There is a very important relationship that I have got. That is A is equal to V omega. That is the product of the linear velocity and the angular velocity. A is equal to V omega. But we know that the relationship between linear velocity and the angular velocity. We know the value of linear velocity and angular velocity. V is equal to omega. We know that. Okay. So now let us put the value. So if V is equal to omega, then omega is equal to V by R. So when I will put it, so this is V into, in place of omega I have to put V by R. So when I will put it, this is V square by R. Okay. So this is a very important relationship. Why? Because as we know that in the previous class, what is the relation between linear velocity and angular velocity? The relation between linear velocity and angular velocity is v is equal to omega r. Understood all of you? Okay, it's a very important relationship. We got what, again I'll repeat. So the linear acceleration a is equal to v omega that is equal to v square by r. Okay, clear all of you? So from this we can go, or we can see in the figure. All of you look at the figure very carefully. The direction of PQ is always towards the center. Listen very carefully. The direction of this PQ is always towards the center. That's why the del P direction is always radial in nature, and similarly the acceleration direction is always towards the center. Okay. Radial in nature. So that type of acceleration, listen very carefully, that type of acceleration which is radial in nature or towards the, along the radius, towards the center of the circle, towards the center of the circular path, that type of acceleration is called your centripetal acceleration. So this type of acceleration where, because all of you look at the figure del V, this is towards the center, the direction of del V is towards the center. That's why from this del V, whatever acceleration I will get, that acceleration is always directed towards the center and radially. Clear all of you? Okay, so that's why that type of acceleration is called centripetal acceleration. Clear all of you? Okay, so that type of acceleration is called your centripetal acceleration. This is very important. So as the velocity, the change in velocity directed toward the center, that's why the acceleration direction is also towards the center. In which case, in uniform circular motion, listen very carefully my words. In uniform circular motion, the change in velocity direction is towards the center along the radius. Similarly, or that's why the acceleration direction is also towards the center along the radius. So that type of acceleration which is directed towards the center and along the radius, that type of acceleration is called your centripetal acceleration. Because centripetal acceleration is a very vital role during a uniform circular motion. Because if the centripetal acceleration is absent, listen very carefully, if the centripetal acceleration is absent, then the object moves tangentially. It will not have in uniform circular motion. Understood all of you? Clear? Okay, so this is a very important concept, so you have to remember this concept. Clear all of you? If you still have any doubt, then you can ask me. Clear? So this is about how the acceleration directed and what is centripetal acceleration. This is the acceleration, and this relationship is very important. This relationship is very important, and it is only valid for which type of motion? Uniform circular motion, not other way. Clear? Okay. So these are the important points you must have, or important concept you must have to remember. Clear all of you? The next we are going to find out an interesting topic, which is also belong to uniform circular motion. Okay, so that is your the relationship between linear and angular acceleration. Clear? So let us find out, or let us derive the relationship between linear and angular acceleration. Okay, so let us find out what is the relationship between linear and angular acceleration. So for this, what you are assuming? So we are assuming that an object is having a uniform circular motion, okay, with radius having r. Clear all of you? Then what you are taking up, we know that the acceleration A can be written as limit del t tends to 0 del v divided by del t, and this is nothing but dv by dt. We know that. Clear? So that implies A is equal to, now all of you know that v is equal to omega, the relationship between linear velocity and angular velocity. V is equal to omega. Okay, so A is equal to now d by dt. So in place of v, let us put the value omega. Clear, all of you? Okay, so let take the r outside. So r d omega by dt. So what is the rate of change of angular velocity? What is the rate of change of angular velocity? The rate of change of angular velocity is nothing your alpha. That is angular acceleration. So that implies linear acceleration A is equal to the radius into angular acceleration. This is a very important one, where A is the linear acceleration and alpha is your angular acceleration. Okay, so this is a very important relationship when the object is in uniform circular motion in a circular path having a radius r. Okay, and the object moving with a velocity v, linear velocity v, constant linear velocity v, then the acceleration can be denoted as this. Then in place of v, I have to put the omega r, and we just got a very interesting relationship between the linear acceleration and angular acceleration, that is A is equal to r alpha. Understood, all of you? Clear? So that is a very important relationship, that is linear acceleration. Again I will repeat, linear acceleration is equal to radius into angular acceleration. Clear, all of you? Okay, now from this expression, all of you look at here, from this expression I can find out another interesting thing, that in case of a circular motion, actually we have two components of acceleration. So let us find out how. Because to rotate the object perfectly, the object will having two components of acceleration. So what are the two components? Let us find out. So we already know that is the scalar representation. First of all, so v is equal to omega, and what is my vector representation? That is v is equal to omega cross product r vector. This is the okay. So v is equal to omega r vector. Now let us what we have to do. Now let us first differentiate both sides. So that is dv by dt. Okay, that is equal to we have to your differentiate. Then what I can differentiate now from this is the formula d by dt ab formula. Okay, d by dt ab formula. So what I can write now, d omega by dt. Look at very carefully, d omega by dt into r plus dr by dt into omega. Clear, all of you? This is the representation. Okay, this is the representation. Then now, look at very carefully. Now, what is the dv by dt? dv by dt is nothing but your acceleration. dv by dt is nothing but your acceleration. So what is the d omega by dt? Rate of change of angular velocity. Rate of change of angular velocity is nothing but your alpha. So cross product r plus what is dr by dt? Rate of change of displacement. What is dr by dt? So dr by dt is nothing but your velocity, rate of change of displacement. So v cross product omega. Okay, so there are now the acceleration is having two components. One is your alpha cross r, another one is your the v cross omega. Clear, all of you? So now that implies, so a vector is equal to, now this is the alpha cross r and this one. So this is nothing but, look at very carefully. So alpha cross r is nothing but the tangential component, and this is the tangential, and this is the radial component. Clear? So there are two components. One is your tangential component, another one is your radial component. So tangential component of acceleration is denoted as alpha cross r, okay, and radial acceleration can be denoted as v cross omega. So these are very important. So that means there are two, basically for a circular motion, not a uniform circular motion, basically for a circular motion we require two types of acceleration. One is your tangential component of acceleration, another one is your radial component of acceleration. Clear? But for, again I will repeat, but for a uniform circular motion, again I will repeat, for uniform circular motion, that is this one, UCM, uniform circular motion. What is the condition? Listen very carefully. For a uniform circular motion, the omega becomes constant, velocity becomes constant. Okay, so d omega by dt, that is equal to alpha is equal to 0. Okay, that's why the tangential components become 0. So the AT components become 0 for which condition? Now for uniform circular motion. Listen very carefully. So for a uniform circular motion, the acceleration must be radial in nature. For a uniform circular motion, the acceleration must be radial in nature, and that type of acceleration, just I told, that type of acceleration is called your centripetal acceleration. Because for a uniform circular motion, the tangential component of acceleration will be 0. There is only presence of your radial component of your acceleration. Clear, all of you? So so listen very carefully. There are two types of, one is your tangential component of acceleration or tangential acceleration. Another one is your radial acceleration. Okay. For uniform circular motion, we require radial acceleration. Okay. But why we require a radial acceleration? Because to have a uniform circular motion, the radial acceleration must be required, and the acceleration must be always directed towards the center along the radius. Understood, all of you? So this is the main important points you have to remember. The main important things you have to remember for a uniform circular motion. Okay? So for this session, okay, in the next class, this is for this session. Next class we are discussing more about the circular motion, okay, and we are discussing about how the banking, your bending of road, these things we have discussed, or when the road will be bent, or bend road. Okay, the concept of bend road in the next video lecture we have discussed. Okay, so thank you so much. Have a good day.